turning 250, and it's time to rock out with our forefathers. American-made, battle-ready style for true patriots. Whether you're marching in the parade, grilling in the backyard, or raising a toast to liberty, do it in the gear that screams freedom. Celebrate 250 years of USA in style. Wear your American pride loud. Trendjackers.etsy.com. Grab yours before the fireworks. America's turning 250, and it's time to rock out with our forefathers. American-made, battle-ready style for true patriots. Whether you're marching in the parade, grilling in the backyard, or raising a toast to liberty, do it in the gear that screams freedom. Celebrate 250 years of USA in style. Wear your American pride loud. Trendjackers.etsy.com.
Tony, welcome again.
Grab yours before the fireworks. America's turning 250, and it's time to rock out with our forefathers. American-made, battle-ready style for true patriots. Whether you're marching in the parade, grilling in the back.
Welcome to The Best of Intentions, a podcast from Intention Films and Media, hosted by writer, director, former film commissioner, and novelist Deborah Markowitz. So join us as we talk about all things creative. Welcome to The Best of Intentions, a podcast from
Hi, welcome to the first podcast of Intention Films and Media called The Best of Intentions. The theory behind, or the theme behind this podcast is movies, medicine, magic, and more. And the reason for that is the fact that some people feel that movies can be medicine because they can be very informative and very healing, and the magic is the way in which it happens. But it means something different to everybody, but that's my perception. So I'm so happy to welcome my first guest, who's a very, very dear friend. He is an incredible storyteller. We have worked on several projects together. He's an award-winning actor, and I am going to welcome my guest, Michael Fedele.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you for having me here today. It's an honor to say, wow, I broke ground. I was on your first podcast. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You
Now,
know.
the magic, Michael and I have worked in several movies together, and we're currently developing a Christmas feature, which we're pretty excited about. But I think part of the thing that's interesting about our relationship is how we met. And I think that's kind of the magic of how this all started. So I'm going to let you tell that story.
Well, folks, it's a long story, so sit back. No, I'll make it short. I came up with an idea for a Christmas film and went into a book form at first. And I needed someone to bring me to the level of how do, I said to myself, how do I make this into a film? Okay, so kind of lost there. So I did a little Google search, and then I do remember reading an article about you. I think it was in the Newsday. It was in a publication, a Long Island publication, New York. And I said, wow, she seems interesting. She seems to probably know a hell of a lot more than I do. And my thoughts were correct. So I placed a few phone calls to Deborah, and she didn't really want to talk to me at all. At all.
I was busy.
Yeah, she was busy. It was always, I'm busy. Okay, you're busy. So then I figured, well, I'm not going to hound her anymore with the phone calls because this tactic isn't really going to work. So I decided to email her, and then I emailed you. And from my recollection, if my memory served me well, the straw that broke the camel's back, there was an email that said, I'm busy doing this, I'm busy doing that, and because I remember saying, can I just get together for coffee? That's all. I won't take up much of your time. So I'm very busy right now, can't do it. I have this or this or this to do, whatever it was. And I email. So I'm sitting there looking at it, and I'm not a computer person at all, and I don't like sending emails. And I'm looking at the keys, which I can't type anyway, so I peck at him. I said, you know what? The hell with this, right? So I said, did not ask you how busy you are, just wanted to know if you wanted coffee. And I said, excuse me, I said, do I hit send now? I said, yeah, go ahead, hit on. Boom.
And I thought that was entertaining. So basically I said, I hazelnut decaf.
Hazelnut decaf.
Right, with almond milk. You have 10 minutes.
Right.
This is the time.
Right.
And then you came. And
right.
I remember that. But before that, and I think after that, you started sending me, for every holiday, you were sending me little Christmas things.
That's right.
A thing of Christmas candy, a thing of a little a snow globe or whatever.
Yeah.
All these. And every time I get it with these letters, I'm like, oh, he keeps sending all the right things. And I don't know if you remember this, but this is where the magic comes in. You had sent me this Christmas bowl with a card, and the last line of it, and remember it's 3 months till Christmas or 3 weeks till Christmas.
Right.
And with that, I'm looking at it, and my assistant at the time comes in all flustered, and he's holding up his phone. He goes, my mother's out of her mind. I said, well, she goes, doesn't even know how to text, and look what she sends me. And he shows me his phone, and it said, remember, it's 3 weeks till Christmas.
Right.
And I went, and so I took the letter you just gave me. I'm like, read this. And he read it and he goes, what is that? I said, that means I have to do this. You don't get too many pokes.
There's your magic.
That was crazy, yeah. That was crazy.
And I believe in that. I don't care. I'm sure there are coincidences in this world, but I think when it comes to matters of the heart and things that you're embarking upon or anything that's going on in your life that's extremely either heart-wrenching or dead serious, whatever it may be, when something sends you a sign or something else happens, I truly believe there are zero coincidences in life.
I believe that.
Things were meant to be. Mm-hmm. Just the way it happened.
And I remember the minute you walked into my office for your 10 minutes,
right.
And I kind of have this thing where it's going to sound crazy, but it's I call it my snapshot intuition. I suck with faces. I suck with names. I think everybody looks the same. I don't know what it is, but I have this problem. But if I meet somebody and I remember exactly what they looked like the second I first saw them, I know it now that that's somebody that needs to be in my life. I didn't know that probably up until about 10 years ago, but everybody who was supposed to be there for some reason, whether it was in a movie, and I'm like, oh, I remember that person. And I remember you sitting down, I'm like, oh, you're one of those people. And you look at me and you just went, yeah. I don't know if you knew what I was talking about, but you just went, yeah. Okay. And so I remember that, and we started writing something that had to be put to the back for various reasons. But then we started, I said, well, Michael, come up with an idea. Mm-hmm. Just give me an idea and then go away and let me write it. And if you want to talk about Yuletides, you can do that, how that came about.
Yeah, Yuletides. Wow. Where do you even start with Yuletides? Mm-hmm. I was telling Deborah before we started the podcast that I don't really consider myself a writer. Yes, I've written. I think the best, to coin the phrase you said, is you're a storyteller. Mm-hmm. Come up with stories. And stories we get from real life experience, mm-hmm. or sometimes if we're blessed with that little magical pixie that's in our head that could feed you information. Mm-hmm. So coming up with Yuletides, I live in an area where there's, I don't want to blow this, I don't want to give anything away. But I let this idea just come to me. I don't necessarily, I don't chase thoughts. I let the thoughts chase me. And when they come to me and I start writing them down, because again, I'm not a typist, I let the pencil or the pen, whatever's at my disposal, go to work. But I know I have something good when it starts to write itself. And I think you understand that.
Absolutely.
I think you understand. It's a weird feeling too, because it's almost like you think you might have to call in an exorcist because you don't know who's guiding your hand. I actually tell my hand, you got to slow down, because the thoughts are coming in too fast and too furious. So I put together this, the idea for Yuletides, and that's where we are now. We're in the tiny baby steps of bringing it to fruition, and it's so exciting. It's one of the best things in my life.
I mean, the way I write is I'm a solitary writer. And when I've been hired to write books or scripts or whatever for people, I kind of say you have to understand my process. You give me the bones for what you want, and then you have to leave me alone. And luckily, never once has anybody said this is terrible. They're usually like, oh my God, this is great. Because if it sucked, I don't know,
Right.
it would be awful. But luckily, thank goodness that hasn't happened. So Michael said he came up with the idea of the area like where he is, where there's sailboats, and a son who would go sailing, and it was something he always did with his father. And just a series of things that might happen, and that's all you said. And I said, all right, let me think on this. And like you, once the ideas come, I usually cannot stop. So for me, I type much quicker than I can write, and I can't read my handwriting anyway.
Which I don't mean to interrupt you, but it's like you're texting. I can't keep up with your
I know.
texting.
I
I'm
know.
like five questions behind.
I make people crazy when I text, but same thing with typing. So I decided the best way that I could use this collaboration would be to have you do research, or to come up with something maybe I haven't thought of. It's like, okay, Michael, I want to get from here to here. How is that going to happen?
Right.
And you'll go, da-da-da. I'm like, that works.
Yeah.
Or I'll say, I think I want this to happen, but I want everything that's in this book or anything I write to absolutely be able to actually happen, even if it's really rare. So I say, Michael, I want this situation, and an hour later he comes back with all these links to where these things could actually happen, as rare as they are. So we did a lot of that. Or Michael, if somebody has to retire with a pension, how many years do they have? Michael, if somebody is doing this, what do I have to know? If somebody is in this profession, and Michael would come back with all the research. And so that's how Yuletides came about. It's changed many times. And it can change again depending on the actors that we hire.
For sure.
Because the lead can be 40. He could be almost 70.
Yes.
But probably 60 is a good age, 50 is a good age, 40s. So it can be adjusted to whatever we need it to be.
Right.
If we hire this male lead, then we don't want the female lead to be more than 5-6 years younger or older. So that can be changed for that. Same thing with the detective. We know who we want.
Oh, absolutely.
We certainly know who we want with that. But if we don't get him, and he's willing to read the script, but if we don't get that person,
See, I didn't know he was willing to read the script. That's great.
Oh, yeah.
Good news.
But he's in a TV series right now. We don't know how that fits in. But by the time we film, you never know.
Right.
So if we hire him, then this person has to be about that age. Then this person has to be about that age. So everything can be adjusted. And I'm really excited about it. Are we going to film it on Long Island? We hope to.
I hope to.
Could be all the way out east. It could be upstate. It could be hopefully mid Long Island. So we only have to put the stars up, but not us.
Right.
Which would save us a lot of money. So we're excited about Yuletides. We're hoping for 2027. But meanwhile, we started with the first film
that we did together.
Yeah.
Well, I was actually in a film of yours. Long time ago.
Oh, yeah. Very small part.
Very small part.
Yeah.
And
Only Woman in the World, I think?
Yes, yeah. Only Woman in the World. And then I remember, I guess the first film we really did together was Sfortunato.
Yes, it was.
Right?
That's right. What was it, The Better Man?
Sfortunato came first.
It was Sfortunato? Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, knowing you opened up other doors for me to know other people who had ideas, and that Better Man was Henry's idea. Yeah.
And with Fortunato, I know you came to me with this story, and I mean, I do my usual thing. If you have a weak constitution, I'm probably not the best person to work with, because I looked at it and I said, okay, this is interesting. Can I play with it? And you said absolutely, and I just changed everything around and sent it back to you, and you loved it, which was great. Because it had to have more dramatic ending, which I think is great, actually.
Yeah. I liked. I do. I liked your ending better than mine. Otherwise, and I think the good thing about you and I is that we Like when you say, well, give me some ideas, or throw something out here that makes us, like we were discussing before. I don't get hurt if you say no.
Mm-hmm. Good.
No, it's not going to work. I don't. But that's how you create. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a collaborative effort, and if you don't throw all the pieces of the puzzle out there together, some aren't going to fit, and that's life. Mm-hmm. It's okay. I don't get insulted in creation. Mm-hmm. You know, I think it's really good, and I'm not, you know, hardcore. No, this is the way. Just like with Sfortunato, you know, I liked my ending, but I loved yours. So, you know.
Yeah, I knew we needed something more dynamic there, and it's done very well.
It did really well.
Some really nice film festivals.
Yeah.
And then from there, we did. You were approached by Henry Stanfel about The Better Man.
Better Man.
You may want to talk about that while I blow my nose. I have a cold. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, The Better Man came about with Henry, and you know, he wanted a story about a guy who did something wrong, was serving prison time for it, and then he comes to the point in life where he's up against the parole board. Mm-hmm. And he just spills his guts in front of the parole board, and it's a great. I love that film. Mm-hmm. I love that. And you really, you know, you did a bang job on that.
It was originally supposed to be a monologue.
That's right.
And I think you wrote it as a monologue, and I said, yeah,
I think I did. That's right. Wow, I forgot all about that.
We need redemption. Yeah. Or we need something at the end of it.
Well, that's what the end was beautiful.
Yeah. And then John, my husband, John Marine, was the DP on that, the director of photography or cinematography, whatever you want to call him. And he came up with that great idea for that transition scene.
That was good. Yeah. That was really good.
Yeah. You know, so it's really such a group effort when you have all these people come together. He had Henry's idea. It would have been his first time director, but you know, the first time you do something, you don't really necessarily know how to do everything. Mm-hmm. So you want to bring people in that do. Mm-hmm. So, excuse me.
No, that was really, and I think we shot that in one day. That was one day. Sfortunato was one day as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, excuse me.
That's okay.
Damn it.
The time of year. What are you going to do?
One day exterior.
That's right. One day exterior. That's right. There was one day exterior. And Sfortunato, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was freezing.
I know. I was shaking so hard.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop shaking. Yeah. But that was a great film.
Really was, yeah.
Yeah, Sfortunato was a great film.
And then from there, we both worked on different projects. You came with the idea. Actually, you told me the story that basically led to Assassin.
Oh, that's right. I'll discuss that.
Yeah. Can we show the trailer for Assassin?
You want to show that now?
Yeah.
All right, give me a...
Then we'll talk
Assassin.
about that.
I'm laughing. Assassin is based on a true story.
All right, here we go.
Posing as utility workers in broad daylight, police say 72-year-old John Connor was led to his basement where he was beaten.
Okay.
Prosecutors
All right.
his wife for the money while documenting her wrists and ankles.
What the hell are you doing here?
Was able to call 911.
Hello to you too, Dad.
Go, get inside. Come on.
Jesus.
Go. Your mother left me.
She's taking a break, Pop. Okay? So you apologize and come to your senses.
Apologize? What the hell do I have to apologize for? My senses are just fine, by the way.
What is that?
What?
God. You got guns in the house? This? Mom doesn't like this shit in the house.
Yeah, well, that's why I stay out here in the garage. And by the way, do you see your mother anywhere? I don't see her here.
But you're more likely to shoot yourself in the hand.
Yeah. Ye of so little faith, my sons.
Mom puts up with you. We all do. We love you.
I don't know. I still say you came from the mailman. I'll be honest with you.
Well, our mail carrier is a woman.
Maybe it came from her. Where are you going with my stuff? I have my own refrigerator here.
This man is out of his mind. Slowly slipping into madness. Oh, Mom.
Yeah. Yeah, so Assassin, yeah, I know. Oh my God, I now exactly remember. I didn't even think we were going to do this. the funny thing about Assassin is that you and me and John, we got on a plane and went to Texas. We went to Austin, right?
Austin Revolution.
Austin
Film
Revolution
Festival.
Film Festival. Okay. And then we're staying in a hotel. And I remember we were going down either to watch films or get something to eat together. So we're in the elevator, and I'm always telling stories. And I was telling you and John about my son bought a Roomba. So they're actually having, there was, where I live, it's usually, you know, good old town USA where it's very quiet and peaceful. Nothing really ever happens that's bad, you know. It's a numbers game. So there was somebody breaking into cars at night. And that rarely ever happens. And I was like, oh, I need this like a whole, who wants that, right? So I work nights on my regular job. And I got home, and it had to be around 12:30 at night. And I was downstairs, I had a cup of tea, and I went upstairs, I laid down, and it was nice out, and I had the window open in the bedroom, and I could, you know, could hear the outside noises, and I could have sworn there was somebody messing with the car.
Don't tell them what it is if they didn't figure it out already. But
yeah, so what happened is that I'm sitting there saying no. So I'm telling you and John this story. So anyway, make a long story short, I'm in bed, I hear that, and I go and get a legal owned handgun, okay, that I'm licensed for. So I have that in a special spot, and I'm like, okay, whoever's in this house, I don't need this, because I realize they're not in my driveway, they're in my house. And should I tell the whole thing? It's
No.
okay. Don't. Okay.
you can tell about going down the stairs and the cat.
But I'm going to give away the movie, no?
Well, just don't tell about what happens at the bottom of the stairs. But
All right. Okay. So I come down the stairs. There's a cat looking at me, and he's got every hair on his body standing up straight because he's seeing something. And I think right then and there, I'm doomed. And I'll end it at that, or should I say?
oh, and then at that, ended at that.
Yeah,
I think.
and
But so Michael tells me this story, and John and I are howling because it's hilarious. And I sort of combined it with my father.
Your father.
Yeah, and the reason we actually ended up doing that as well is we had a home we were going to film at, and something happened for the homeowners. They had to cancel. They had a family issue going on. So it's like, well, where the hell are we going to do this? And my production designer, Corey Diskin, said, well, let's do it in your garage. Like, we can't do it in my, we could do it in my garage. And then it kind of sparked memories of my father, who basically lived in the garage just to get away from my mother. And and he had guns. He had guns and safes and all kinds of stuff there. And he was kind of that crazy guy in the garage who shot himself through the hand or whatever.
Oh, my God.
So I kind of took that story and I mixed it in with your story. And in fact, the license plate is on the island in my kitchen, which I want to hang in my office, which has what happens in the garage stays in the garage. So we used that for the theme of the movie and mixed stuff that really happened, you know, to bring together this movie, which was so funny that it was hard to not laugh while I was directing it. And Michael and Travis Grant, who's actually my guest next week.
Awesome, love
Hopefully
him.
I won't have a cold next week. But their chemistry, oh my God.
Yeah, getting together with Travis
Yeah.
is great. Even Offset is just so much fun.
Yeah,
You
you two are hilarious.
Yeah, thank
So
you,
he
yeah.
played your son
Yeah.
on of about several other movies I've worked on with him. And you were actually nominated for Best Chemistry.
Yes.
For that, and I think you won Best Actor for that as well at
I
a
think
different
I
film
think
festival.
so, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But the chemistry between the two of you was just friggin' hilarious.
And it was great too because you gave us the a little bit of openness there to. I remember we would stick it to script, and we were doing the script, and I remember you and John decided. You said, "Listen, I play with this. Go with it. Let's shoot this." So we just went. We freewheeled the whole damn thing. And it was hysterical because what was hysterical is I didn't know what he was coming back with.
Right. And he didn't know what you were coming back with. And he's a comedian. So.
And he's a comedian. Which,
Oh, my God.
Kudos to him. You
Yeah.
know, it was great. It was great. Yeah, working with him is so much fun. But I've never been on a set with you where I wasn't happy and content. And
I work with good people.
Yeah. And the technical people are always wonderful.
Yes, yeah. I mean, also, I do bring in new people, especially if I get hired. I have to hire who,
Right.
is the best person for it. When I tend to write my stuff, I usually write it with people I know in mind. And that's kind of how that's how I write. It may not be the actors I use, but whether it's a famous actor, whether it's a friend, I kind of see them in the role, and that helps me really write the character as
Right.
deeply as I can.
Right.
So we did that, and that was fun. And because I know you're both so good at what you do, it's like, all right, go for it. Now, I might turn around sometimes and say, now let's do it by the book, which I do that
Right.
too. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but usually with you guys, it always works out. So that was hilarious. And then the feature that's in editing right now, and oh my God, it's coming out so good.
Well, what you sent me was beautiful.
It's called From the Embers. I originally did a short film with Travis called Brimstone, and it was Travis and John Marine, my husband, who's also a
And
crazy
he
talented
won
actor.
awards for that.
He's won a lot of awards for that. Yeah,
it's a great part.
Yeah. So John plays his creepy father, his creepy abusive father, and Travis is the kid that's just been so devastated from having an abusive childhood. Very unlike any of these other films. It's a very, very deep, dark drama, and from there, I decided I wanted to know what happened to the characters. So I wrote what was originally entitled Brimstone Features, now called From the Embers. And we're editing it now, and you play Travis's father-in-law.
Yeah.
And it's very dark, but your scene is hilarious.
Yeah, what's great is how you wrote that is that,
I wrote you.
yes.
Your character has not changed. Those are the 3 scenes that nothing has to change because it's you.
It's you, yeah, which is easy to play. And it's fun to play. It's fun to play. But yeah, what you sent me is absolutely beautiful, and the movie poster is gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's a great movie poster.
Yeah, so I'm
love that.
excited. The performances that are crazy. But you basically play the very protective single father of a teenage daughter who's in college and she's excelling, and she is studying how trauma fuels addiction. And it's very dark. I did a lot of research. I had to interview a lot of addicts, former addicts, and Travis plays a former heroin addict who gets interviewed. He's much older than this college student, but much to his dismay, he doesn't plan this, but they end up getting involved. And you play the father-in-law who basically has to put him in his place. That's a great freaking scene.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, so it's
I laughed at it. So, it's not meant to be laughed at.
no, but the ending of it is.
But,
Because you basically tell them, I don't care how big you are.
Right.
And you can actually give them the line because it's just amazing, if you remember it.
I think I do. Let me see. Let me
I don't care
go
how
into
big
my-
you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care how big. Can you curse on this show? I don't know if
Can
you
we
can.
curse? Yeah,
Absolutely.
curse. Do
You
it.
got the green light on the cursing. I don't give a shit how big you are. But if you ever hurt my daughter or hurt that kid, I will fucking end you. That's the line.
Yeah. And Travis is like, I know. And it's just a great scene. And Julia Weiner is just...
She's wonderful.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
It's funny too because I love her, and we were also in Silent Harmony
That's
together.
right.
We were in
That's
Silent.
right.
I like to work with her too because what's really great about her is that when I played her, I felt like I was her father. I don't know. We did a little improv there.
Yes.
I don't know if you used it or not.
I think we're using just a few seconds of that.
Okay, yeah, but it felt real.
Yes.
Felt real. So like I said, and I repeat myself, but the people you've chosen, I just love getting along with everybody.
Yeah, when I work with an actor that I know really has a nice deep well of talent, I like to see what they can do.
Right.
So like with Travis in particular, I knew he did comedy. I wanted to push him because I just had a feeling he had this really deep well of just that he could portray this darker side, and I really wanted to push that. And he was concerned. He goes, I don't even know if I can do that. I said, I know you can do it.
Yeah, and you know what I think? Because he comes from a comedy world, you could, I'm not brilliant. Just look at the history. How many comedians are incredible actors?
True.
You take Robin Williams and you think about that. I mean, they're all good actors.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a big stretch for him.
Jim
and I'm
Carrey's
so
a
proud
good
of him.
actor.
Yeah.
He's a comedian.
And then you look at Eternal Sunshine of the
The
Spotless
Spotless
Mind, one of my favorite movies, which I love that. And it's shot out here, by the way. I used to be the film commissioner for Nassau County. So I'd like to see what they could do. Julia is just perfection. She's just perfection. And I can't wait to bring that out because I'm watching it going, oh my God. I mean, the chemistry between the two of them, because she thinks she can save him.
Right.
Which you can't.
Nope.
And with addicts, or with anybody, if you're traumatized and you're finally in a good relationship, in the beginning it's like, all right, everything's better now. But that's when the work starts.
Right.
And so I tried to bring that out in that movie, and just to see the nuances between both of them is just.
How far are you off on that now?
We're in the second pass of editing.
Okay.
Jack Kelly is editing it. I don't
Is
know
he?
if you know that.
Oh, no, I
Oh,
didn't-
he's doing a killer job.
Go Jack if you're
Yeah.
out there listening.
Yeah. So we'll have to tell Jack to listen to the reruns when it's on. But yeah, he did a really nice first pass, and I told him keep it. Don't go crazy, because this way, if I want to cut something, you haven't spent a week
Right.
doing this 10 minutes.
Right.
So so we did first a rough assemblage. Longer than I'd like. It was 2 hours and 17 minutes, but this is actually the kind of movie that could probably carry that.
Yeah.
But now we're down to, I think, 2 hours and 7 minutes.
And you
but
still have
we
to
gave
shave
him,
off of that?
They gave him a bunch, and we probably could shave off a few more minutes. So he gave us a second pass that's just so good.
Really?
Yeah, so John and I are going through the notes now for that.
I'm so glad Jack works with you.
I know. And this is, okay, now this is another Michael story. We're doing The Better Man.
Right.
And that was after Sfortunato, correct?
Yes, it was after
Yeah.
Sfortunato.
And Michael said, look, I know this kid. He's a really great kid. I'd love him.
Yeah.
He wants to be in the industry. I'd love to have him be a PA. And I'm like, Michael, I hate people with no
Zero-
experience on
right.
set, because they can really drag you down if they ask too many questions,
Right.
if, they don't know what they're doing, because we work with such small crews
Mm-hmm.
that anybody who's not really holding their weight can really mess you up.
Mm-hmm.
We have a habit of finishing actually almost early every day because we're such a well-oiled group. So he recommends Jack, and Jack comes and this and that, and he's like, all right, he knows he's good. But I think the second film we did together, or the third film we did together, this is going to sound something like really small and whatever, but it's not.
I know.
It was the prof. We were doing the prof.
I know what you're going to say.
You know what I'm going to say, yeah. We were doing the prof, and Jack was our PA. I think a second AD, a second assistant director, and our production assistant. And we have, I think, 4 different locations for this 4 very ambitious day shoot called The Prof. Linda Collins was the lead actress and the producer on it. And we're cleaning up at this club that we filmed at, and I find this cooler. And I'm like, what is this? And I open it up, and I realize that Jack, of his own money, I ended up paying him back, but of his own money, he got like every different kind of creamer anybody could possibly want for coffee. Now, you'd think that's not a big deal. That's a really big
is a
deal.
big deal.
Nobody asked him to do that. He just figured, how can I make this work for everybody else? And then the other thing was filming at Governor's, and we always use the deli next door. Great food. They don't have a menu at the time. And it's like, how do you not have a menu? But they didn't have a menu. And I have Jack taking the lunch orders, and I said, well, how'd you get a menu? He goes, I didn't. I just wrote down what all the possibilities could be. And I'm like, I mean, I know that seems like little stuff.
It's not.
It's not. You're thinking, you're planning ahead. And now he's our key grip. Now he's doing our editing for us. And we're using him for so many, because he's so bright and he's so talented. But this is just a lesson for the people out there with that experience. Whatever you do it well. Try to be helpful. And people, especially if it's a smaller crew, we're going to move you up. And now we're going to recommend you for everything, because we know you can handle it. You have integrity. You're a hard worker. And then I also have to bring up Zach Walker. Can I bring up Zach Walker? Okay. So anyway,
love
I
Zach.
was interviewed on
Love
Knock 'em
Zach.
Dead Comedy Show, and Tony Walker said to me, hey, my son works in the industry. Could you ever use him? And I think we were doing a couple of guys. I'm not sure. But I said, all right, well, let's bring him in. We need help. Zach, we've now moved Zach up to be our AD, our assistant director, because he's so good. He's so helpful. Whenever I am, because we're such a small crew, and I think it was on Brimstone, that, the feature Brimstone from the Embers, that there was a miscommunication with the production designer. She thought that I had said we got somebody else, and it just got confused. And all of a sudden I find out now we don't actually have a production designer. My fault for not making it clear, hey, hold those days or whatever. So I brought in Jennifer Feldman, who was doing hair and makeup, jumped in to help with props. I told Zach, can you handle this, and that? Because I can't
do it.
I just can't. I'm going to lose my mind. And I did lose my mind on that shoot. But he just jumped right in. And without the two of them really helping with all this extra stuff they don't usually do, I don't know how we would have made that with any sanity at all. So I have to bring him up too. And now I have people who are always going to be part of my regular crew if they're available.
That's sweet, though.
Sometimes people aren't, and then you have to bring in new people. But I know who my main people are. I have three or four main people for
That
my
you
crew,
stick with, yeah.
and I'm going to bring them wherever I go and recommend the hell out of them because they deserve it.
Yeah.
So actually, let's show the clip from Sfortunato. Can we do that?
Yep.
That was so much fun.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
All right, here we go.
You've served 9 years of your 15-year
Do
sentence.
you feel that you have been rehabilitated? And if so,
Do you have anything
how?
further to say in your defense?
So you're maintaining that this was an
So
accident.
please explain to us why you feel you should be paroled now.
Thank you. Oh, we're back
Yeah.
already. Okay. So I just got some sad news. I just heard that Robert Duvall passed away. I'm sorry to hear that. He was such an amazing talent. He also was in one of my favorite movies called Tender Mercies,
Mercies.
which was so
Amazing.
beautiful. And there's actually something I want to write with John in mind. Similar to the same kind of character, I should say. And that's something, but I haven't fleshed that out in my mind. I just have this picture of him in the backyard and just having a conversation with somebody, but it hasn't come to me yet. Like you, I don't chase ideas.
Right.
But
Right.
but anyway, we're sorry to hear that. Rest in peace, sir.
Yeah, Robert Duvall.
So Fortunato. You came up with Fortunato.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I grew up near Belmont Racetrack, and I knew a lot of people who fit the bill for the lead in Sfortunato, and that means unlucky in Italian. But that whole story came to me, and then we discussed that earlier. That you changed the ending up a little bit, and that was another beautiful story. That was a fun shoot.
That was a great shoot.
That was a fun shoot.
I think it was
too.
right after COVID was finishing up, so we
Yeah,
still had such
yeah.
a skeleton crew in this very small apartment.
It was
And
really tight. Yeah, we shot that. Where did we shoot? We shot that.
top of the Belmore movies.
Belmore Theories.
Yeah.
Yeah, Henry's place. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good. And Jack Faye. How do you say?
Oh, Frank Failla.
Frank.
Frank
How do you say?
Failla. Frank Failla,
Is
I
that
think.
why? I've known him for years now, and I always
I don't
mess up
know.
his last name.
It's an Italian thing.
I'm so sorry, Frank.
But he was awesome. We brought in actor Frank Failla, who is just hilarious. And they play brothers, and
Yeah.
you're the screw up brother.
Yeah.
And he's the good brother, and he always thinks you're trying to shake him down.
Yeah.
And until you're really trying to really get close with him for various reasons.
Yeah.
And but the chemistry between the two of you, and you even used your father's rings, if I remember correctly.
I did. Those are the two rings my father, and those rings go back because one of those two rings was my grandfather's ring, and I didn't really know my grandfather. He died. He was young. I was little, I just want to make amends with my brother because I got a bit of bad news, and he thinks that I want to shake him down for a couple of bucks. So I invite him over for dinner. We have a great conversation. So.
And this thing about the, even though most people don't realize it, but mostly Italian, even though my last name's Markowitz. But so there's things that we connected on. When you were talking about the meatballs, the special pot and the whatever, reminded me of my grandparents, my grandmother. I didn't know my grandfather either, but we had a lot in common. And Yuletides starts with that.
Yep.
Starts with this conversation that Christopher has with his father, and he talks about the seven fishes. He talks about and one family was all together and whatever, and so that really just resonated with me. I think I wrote that whole thing, right? You didn't write that. I think I wrote that, but that's something you would have written. Yeah, that's something you would have written.
You wrote that. Yeah.
And so even though it's based on an Italian-American family, at least from Christopher's end of it, I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people, pretty much like Moonstruck did, which is just
Love Moonstruck.
such a gorgeous movie. And you gave me something.
It was from Camareri's Bakery.
Yes.
Yeah, I gave Deborah a, you get your loaf of Italian bread. Well, Italian bread's a funny thing because my father used to come home with a loaf of Italian bread every single night. Mm-hmm. Never even asked what my mother was making for dinner. Does it even go with it? He always had a loaf of bread under his arm. And we always say, oh, it's a nice loaf of bread. You have to throw in some nice
loaf of bread.
It's a nice loaf of bread. As opposed to what? Is it a bad loaf of bread? I brought you a nice loaf of bread. But I gave Deborah for I think it was for Christmas once or something in a frame. It's from Camareri's Bakery in Brooklyn, and that's that. So, yeah. That was a great movie. Oh my God, Moonstruck.
I know, one of the best. I remember my mother would always go, "Oh, and the handkerchief, the kerchief on the head," like her mother used to wear. My grandmother always wore that. Little Italian lady, Francesca Canata. But
you talk about the seven fishes. The seven fishes is really funny. I mean, growing up in a predominantly Italian American neighborhood, which I was blessed to grow up in. I wouldn't change a thing. And I was fortunate for that. I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't ever want to go back to where they came from. But if I can go back tomorrow, I would definitely go back tomorrow.
And that's kind of the story of Christopher, actually,
Yeah.
too, is because he loses his. What did we leave it at? He loses his mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loses his mother, who's his last remaining parent, and he has to go back to his childhood home.
And decide what he's going to do.
Yeah, he's got to clean up the house and sell it, and he always wanted to get out of there because it was just so small town, and it really wasn't where he wanted to be. The neighbors knew everybody's business, and he was always a troublemaker, and now he goes back. But everybody, even though he's like in his 40s, or whatever, people are still looking at him like that kid that was always a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And so he kind of has to get past all of that and try and rekindle some relationships, that he realized really meant a lot to him.
Yes.
It's really heartwarming.
It is heartwarming. Yeah, and what it is me and Deborah here are talking about our film that we're embarking upon. I always wanted to make a Christmas film because it's important to me, and it's important to me because I want people to enjoy something. And not to say anything bad about Hallmark films, there is a place. I believe there's a place for every film that's been ever made. I'm grateful that I'm actually one of the judges for the Long Island Film Expo, but because I love to watch films, and I think anybody listening to this podcast probably is in the same wheelhouse as we are. That's who the audience probably is. But I wanted to, again, not to say anything bad about Hallmark films, because I think Hallmark films are extremely predictable, and then there's a place for that.
Right.
I always wanted to make something that is unpredictable, that is a little more gritty, that is a little more realistic, that, if you take the first Rocky movie, the way I always describe the films I want to make on Christmas is Rocky meets It's a Wonderful Life.
And that's kind of what this is without the fighting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because the funny thing is, even if you listen to Sylvester Stallone, everybody knows who he is. He said Rocky is not about boxing. It's a love story. He said Rocky is a love story. That's what he wanted. So, anyway, going back to the Christmas genre, not only will we make Yuletides, but I believe that Deb and me will become the queen and king of Christmas because I just want to keep making Christmas movies.
Yeah, I agree. And we
and
have
whatever
another
else-
one we're working on, too,
Yes.
that I have to get back to. The other thing that was really cool about Michael is once we finally really touched base, and I said to him, look, I'm tied up for 3 years. I guess got projects 3 years out. And he was so great with waiting. And then I got to it, and then there was an issue. So then it's like, all right, now I got another 5 projects, so I got to wait till I get to it. And then we waited. But every time that we've had to take a break from Yuletides, it gets better and tighter.
Yeah, I think there's a reason for it. I mean, you doing what you do a hell of a lot more than I do. You get better at what you do. So, God bless you. There's a
Thank
reason Yuletide is taking this long, and it's okay.
Yeah, and it gets better every time.
It's good.
So I think we were like 112 pages, which I just think is too long for this, and now we're down to 100, I think.
I think you
So
are, yeah.
every time I read, I'm like, you know what? We can combine this character with that character,
Mm-hmm.
and then we tighten the story. And I showed it to the script to an executive producer who's won Emmy Awards for Boardwalk Empire and Men Who Built America, and he read it and he goes, Deb, this is really good. He said, now, are you ready to go? Because this is ready for the screen. He said, if you have to, do you want feedback? I'm like, oh yeah, we're not doing this tomorrow, give me feedback. And he said it's minimal, there's only like 3 things, and I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so we cut off pages and combine stuff in ways that he's not even sure yet. I just sent it to him. But, it's one thing if you're filming the next week, you can't necessarily make as many changes. But I always want good feedback from people who know what they're doing.
Absolutely. 100%.
And this is probably going to come up many times with me. But when you're a writer, you have to be very careful about taking your ego out of it when you're talking to somebody who's giving you feedback, but also remember that you have to keep your voice.
Right.
So it's that's always been a constant struggle for me until I came to that conclusion. Like, why am I doing this? If somebody else is such a much better writer, why do I think I can do this? And then I realized because they couldn't write what I write. And not everything's for everybody.
Of course not.
I think that Yuletides is going to appeal to
A lot of-
way more people than just people who like Christmas movies. But people who like Christmas movies are going to love it.
Right.
You know, so and that's what we wanted to do. We
Yeah.
wanted to make it more mainstream.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we got to that. Should we show Better Man?
Sure, if
Yeah.
you
can we
have
show
it,
Better
yeah.
Man?
I think that's
we
what
have
I
it.
mistakenly showed before.
Oh.
Yeah, what you asked me to show
Yeah, that
before.
would be shorter.
I never got that from you.
Oh, you didn't?
So
Okay,
I
then
only
we
have
won't do
those-
that.
So I only have the 2 videos that
Okay,
we already
that's
showed.
fine.
That's all.
All right, so
fine.
you're not
Sorry.
seeing anything.
Okay.
We're good with that. We still got 15 minutes. I'm just gauging this all now, trying
Yeah.
not to fall into a heap of
And
coughing
notice-
and whatever.
You'll be fine. You're gonna make it.
I'm good.
You're strong. You have to make it.
I gotta,
Yeah,
right.
you text me all the time. You better live.
Yeah, you better live. We have too much stuff. We
When
gotta
I get
do.
my wozy wow moments,
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it.
Yes, I get none of that.
I get the text message. You better live. Okay.
The stuff we have, you can finish once we finish all the movies we got to do. Then
Then you could go
That's like-
on your journey.
That's like my big thing. People like, you afraid? I said, I'm afraid of not telling all the stories I need to tell.
Well, that's the thing too. And you know what? You go back to what we're doing and how blessed I am to know you and all the people I've met through you who've given me opportunities as well. You know, Maria Filippone, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have met Maria, you know, and she gave me a great opportunity and I was so blessed to work on her film this year. I was very happy to do that and I think that's going to be a beautiful film. It's beautifully written and the people who worked on that were wonderful as well. I have a regular job, as you did. Fortunately for you, you picked a job that was in your wheelhouse
Yes,
of
so
doing
lucky.
what you love.
So lucky.
I have a job that I go to every day. I was in the food business for 25 years, and then I picked a job that would give me some health insurance and a pension, somewhat of a pension. You know, and I have this love for film, and I have a love for acting. I went to Herbert Berghoff Studio after high school. I left college. Some after-school specials, and did the thing that mostly we all do as actors. You just got to start somewhere. The main reason, aside from the story, and bringing this to the screen with Deborah, with you, I want to leave something behind. I want to show people out there that it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter where you came from. That if you see it every single day and you believe in it every single day. I see this every single day. There are things that I think of every day, and I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'll tell it like it is. I think of 2 things every single day, constantly. 9/11, I think of every day. Every single day, and I'm sure there's others who do that as well. And I think of my father every day. And I want to show people that, again, who no matter who you are, where you came from, what you embark on, if you put your head down, you can make this happen. I take age out of the equation. To me, there is no age. Just go out and do it. And the other thing with stuff like you do, and I love to do, is that there is a sense of immortality to it. Because when we do get our card pulled, whatever you leave behind, that's never going anywhere. They're your stories. That's immortality.
We got to leave them. I've been thinking about that. You have to leave them to somebody to keep perpetuate. That's not the word.
I think so.
It is, but not that.
You would know before me.
Yeah, you need somebody to keep them out there because they're not in the public domain. They go away.
Yeah.
So,
but you know what though? Okay, so if they're not in the public domain, they go away. But somebody who saw it and fell in love with it,
yeah.
it's in their hearts forever. It's in their minds forever. I mean, we just talk about Moonstruck before. I spoke about Rocky before. Who the hell doesn't know who Rocky or Moonstruck is?
Yeah, true.
That's immortality.
Yeah.
And something that hit me really hard, probably long ago, probably a few years ago, and I believe I saw this in a film. Someone's line was, you die twice in this world.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, what do you mean you die twice? He says, you die 2 times. When you physically leave your body, when you're gone, that's number 1. The second time you die is when they stop talking about you.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, when people stop talking about you, that's the second time you die. When nobody remembers, nobody thinks.
Wow.
That's the second time.
Well, that's depressing.
It's very depressing.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, I thought about this, you die twice. One is when you actually physically die, but the other time is when you stop doing anything that matters.
That's good.
And storytelling matters. Art matters.
Yeah, it matters. It matters big time. I mean, I'm a freak. I could watch the same movie 1,000 times over, and
We're starting. I've never done that before, but we're starting to do that now.
And I think what it is that because I do have a regular job that I go to every single night. My hobby is that. It's my passion, but it's become my hobby to watch film over and over and over again because it's a learning experience for me. Because I learn things by just watching. What was the movie we spoke about earlier that's up for an Academy Award with Leonardo DiCaprio? What movie is that?
One Battle After
One
Another.
Battle After Another.
Yeah.
I think that's close to 3 hours. That film, if not 2.5, easy. Right? I've already watched it 5 times. That's a lot of hours out of your life to watch a movie.
I have to wait till I take a plane flight again, and then I'll watch it
yeah.
again. That's when I watch my movies. Is when I'm going to film festivals across the country.
But those and everybody go. How much streaming we have today? I mean, how many series are out there? Oh, did you see this one? Did you watch The Bear? Did you watch the new one with Michael Imperioli I started watching with Patrick Dempsey? It's on Fox.
Oh, I don't know
It's on, and they show it on Hulu. Memory of a Killer or something like that. Incredible. There's so much content out there. It's ridiculous. But when everybody comes home, maybe from a long day, not everybody, but most people, they'll put on the television. They'll see what's on. What should I watch? These things that you do take people out of their element for the day and give them a break from their real life. And I look at acting like that. When I'm blessed to be asked to play a part in a film, I can hang Michael Fedele on a coat hook for the next 12 hours, 10 hours, whatever it is. And all my problems disappear because I don't have to be me. You could leave that behind today,
And I mean, I'm so in awe of talented actors. One of the best things in the world, first of all, I love to write. I know a lot of writers say that it's painstaking, and it's no, I love to write. I love it. If I could only do one thing, it would be writing. And the reason that I direct is because I want to make sure the stories are told properly. So when I get great actors and I see them bringing forward the roles the way I wrote it, and they're doing a absolutely killer job, I'm just like, I'm just the happiest person ever. I don't remember which photographer it was when somebody took some pictures of me while I was directing, and I was just like
happy
because I was just so excited by what people were doing with the roles.
What you wrote.
Yeah, and it's I'm so in awe. I used to act back in the day, and I was actually a lead in a pilot for somebody once. It was so much fun, but I'm rusty. I don't do it, and if you don't do it, then you lose it.
You did a cameo in Sfortunato.
Oh, I did do a cameo. I forgot about that. We needed a doctor. Hey, I don't have to pay myself. I'll do it. But it was very simple. I was Dr. somebody or another. I don't remember. And I have a cameo in The Prof as well.
That's right.
I played
That's
the
right.
AD. Yeah.
You know what I think? Talking about Jack Kelly, I think he's in there too, isn't he?
And The Prof. Oh, he probably is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
I think he does a cameo in that.
Yeah. He's a cameo in a few things.
Yeah.
I think also in Brimstone, also from the Embers, also. But I just love the way you guys do this, and because we have such a really cool tight knit crew, is just as how everybody works together to do this and how much they care about it. That was the next thing I would say is you want to work with people who love the project. Yes, it's got to be a paycheck, and I get that. But you really want to work with people who love doing it.
Right.
That they're so happy to go to set because they get to do this and they get to work with these other people that they admire. And it's just always such a cool thing to do. Now, you started with after-school specials, by the way. I love that because, of course, everybody watched them back then.
A couple of a couple of lines here and there, nothing big, nothing to talk about, but proud moments. For me as a kid, it was great. I remember shooting. I had a few lines in this after-school special. I think it was called "Out of Step." I'll never forget.
That was my favorite one.
Really?
That was my favorite.
Oh, I didn't know that.
My friend Greg Burge was in. He was one of the dancers. He passed away a number of years ago, but he was one of the dancers.
No kidding.
Oh my God.
But I remember we were shooting that. I think we were down on Chambers Street. I was young. We were on Chambers Street, and this is funny. And people are funny too because. We were shooting, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning they were shooting.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because they closed down the whole entire street. And the funny thing is I forget what the craft was there for food. What I missed something, I didn't eat. And I was like, I didn't have to be back for a few hours. And there was a cafe that was open. and it was warm out. It was summertime, and there was this restaurant. So I sit down. I remember ordering like a burger and a soda or something like that. And I remember the waitress came up to me, and I'm sitting there alone eating my burger. And then I asked for the check because I knew I wanted to get back. And she says, "Oh no, the owner said it's on him." I was like, "Really?" I says, "Why?" She says, "Well, you're in the movie, aren't you?" I says, "Yeah, I'm nobody." I remember telling her I'm a nobody. She goes, "Just take the burger. Just take the burger."
That's really cool.
Yeah, Out of Step. Then there was
My favorite one.
Grabner's Handbook.
Which one is it called?
Grabner's,
I never saw
GRAE,
that.
Grabner's Handbook. Yeah, I was in that as well. Also a movie with Donald Sutherland and Kevin Dillon. Oh my God! It was about Catholic high school in Brooklyn, 1965. The school was called St. Basil's. Heaven Help Us.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Heaven Help Us. Yeah, I just did like heavy duty extra work in that, and it's funny too because when you do extra work, I know it's only extra work, but it's worth doing because the craziest stuff is like when you watch it, and they actually use you as an extra like. You see the camera follow you, like even you're just walking. It's out of all the. So it was fun. I did that. Yeah. You know what's nice about that? I remember eating lunch with. Do you remember Home Alone? With you know Home Alone. You remember the father who played in Home Alone? What was his name?
John Hurd.
John Hurt.
Oh my God.
Ate lunch with him.
Oh my God.
Ate lunch with him. He just sat down next to me. We were eating lunch. And the craziest thing is my father knew we were where I was shooting. It was in the 70s somewhere. It's supposed to be Brooklyn, but it was Upper East Side we were on. And I told him where we were at this church. So when I got to set, I didn't know how to get my haircut. So they gave everybody the same haircut, extremely short. It was 1965, and they gave you the outfit, the blazer and the pants. And I remember I told my father where we were, and I came down the church stairs after we were done shooting a scene, and I see him looking like this, but there's like 400 of us who were all dressed the same. It was hysterical, and I'm like this, over here, you know. It was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that.
It was.
One of, I was film commissioner for 33 years.
I know that. Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't get to film sets a lot because we were just always so busy, but. I had met Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin and a bunch of people on the set of a movie that's I'm not even going to give the name, but it's a movie that had a lot of issues. They changed the name several times and whatnot. And the county executive I worked with at the time took a picture with Alec Baldwin and Anthony Hopkins, and he wanted me to get it signed. Now, in those days, they developed the film, and by the time they finished, everybody had gone. Anthony went back to California and whatever, and I can get Alec Baldwin, but Anthony Hopkins was going to be a chore. And they would give me such a hard time, and I'm calling, and I said, look, I can't. If I send this picture to them, it doesn't mean we're ever going to get it back. How am I going to ever do this?
Right.
And so now, a month or two later, a film called, it was called Checkmate, and then they changed the name to Bad Company, I think, and with Chris Rock and Anthony Hopkins. I'm like, I got to get this film shoot here.
Yeah.
If I get this here, I can get Anthony to sign this. And sure enough, we get it, and I go there, and he is so gracious. Hey, whatever you want, I'll sign whatever you want. And so we're going to have lunch. He goes, you have to come have lunch. Okay.
Of course, Anthony.
So we're walking to the cafeteria, and he's not staying in his trailer. He's eating with everybody else, and he's going up to the crew, and he's giving them nuggies and all this other stuff. And we're online, and I'm a vegetarian, and I don't eat fish. Fish just. No, I like them in tanks. I don't want to eat them. And he's like, this is chili and sea bass. You know how much money? He says, you have to eat this. I'm like, I don't want to go. Take some. I'm like, okay.
So you twisted your arm.
I didn't eat any. But, but he was so personable. But you're right. It's sometimes behind the scenes where you get to see what people are like.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And so I got the script signed, and I was like a freaking hero.
Nice.
But I kind of think they challenged me thinking I couldn't do it. But I'm like, you don't know who you're dealing with. But I had to get a whole film shoot here so I can get those scripts signed. And then we also had them sign some that we auctioned off at the film festival, the Long Island International Film Expo, which, by the way, is open for submissions at longislandfilm.com. Go to submit this film on Film Freeway, Long Island Film Expo. And you're one of the judges for that.
Yes, yeah. Great stuff so far I've watched. Really good stuff.
So at that point, we still did it in the big Gold Coast mansions. Now we do it right in the theater because filmmakers don't want to spend money, and money doesn't come in anymore. It's very different now. But but it's I love being on film sets. Some people be like, it's like watching paint dry. So no, I love it.
It's long days.
Yeah.
But you know,
But I love watching everything. I love
Yeah.
watching all the equipment. I love, watching how the actors interact and the directors. And, so the few times I actually did have some time to spend out there, to me was always amazing.
Yeah.
Or meeting Telly Savalas.
that must have been nice, huh?
It was awesome.
Was he a personable person?
He was personable enough,
Yeah.
for the 5 minutes you
Yeah,
spend with
yeah.
somebody. But the funny thing is, they were at, I want to say, Old Westbury Gardens, I believe it was, and it was for a reboot of Kojak.
No kidding.
And now I kept thinking I saw Telly Savalas, but what I saw was a bunch of bald men who were all his extras.
Wow.
And I'm like, no, that's not him. No, that's not him either. And I finally did get a picture with him, and he seemed like a perfectly nice guy. But it's cool to see that behind the scenes.
Yeah. Alec Baldwin was nice. I met him too.
I liked Alec.
Yeah. I had a great conversation with Alec Baldwin. He was he's a wild guy. He was fun to talk to.
I worked with him a lot because before Grumman became a studio, he wanted to rent it out as a studio. And I just had to do so much negotiations between, was it the Navy? I think it was the Navy, some branch of the military, and the county, and everybody else who was affiliated the town with trying to get the studio used for that, because that's not what the use was. And we ended up working it out, but it was, it was constantly, he was constantly calling me. I'm like, believe me, I'm on this. Trust me, I'm on this. And I was so happy when it worked out. And they built all their sets there, and that really kind of paved the way for it eventually becoming a studio. A New York State approved soundstage. So then there was Grumman Studios and Gold Coast Studios, and now there's I think 5 or 6 or 7 approved studios out here, which was awesome. But when I started, it was just a dream, and now it's like, woo, studios everywhere. So I kind of left on a good note, with all of that in place. But so what's next for you, Michael? As far as filming, you have anything? Is it Yule Tides? You have anything else coming
Yule
up?
Tides, yes. Nothing really. There always seems to be something burning here and burning there.
Yeah.
You just don't know when it's going to rear its head. That's how it. Well, you know how it is.
Yeah.
You talk about something. Well, you talked about 3 years ago, and now somebody's contacting you about. Oh, listen. So everything takes time. And again, I let it come to me. And fortunately for Yule Tides and my career, so when I retire, this is all I'm going to do. So I have till October, and then I could just concentrate on this.
Oh, yeah. No, it's the best. I mean,
You know.
what people have to understand is everybody needs a survival job.
Yeah.
Because very few people can do just this.
Right.
But if you set it up, I mean, I don't know how many years I didn't sleep because I was doing film commission during the day.
Yeah, you were burning
And
the
at
candle
night, I'm
for
working
sure.
on casting
yeah.
or movies. On the weekends, I'm working on movies. Vacations, I'm working on
Yeah,
movies.
you're giving up. All your free time is
Yeah.
given up to doing what you love.
But I knew once I left the film office, I wanted to be running
Right.
already. I want to be well established
Right.
in my filmmaking career. So you're kind of a very similar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least I'll have, whatever I've come in to me, Social Security wise, pension wise, and all that kind of stuff. And then I could just concentrate on something that I started a long, long time ago. And it's funny how life works.
Yeah.
It's great though, and I'm sure there's plenty of actors and actresses out there who could say the same. If you see it every day and you believe in it,
And do the work.
You have to do the work.
Yeah.
No one's knocking on your door. No one's knocking at your door.
Well, if they knock on your door, you want to be ready.
Right.
That's something I
Right.
always say. That's where the manifesting thing gets a little
Right,
messed up. As
right.
people go, if you just think it'll happen, no.
Yeah.
You got to work and you
Yeah.
got to put. Like if you find the perfect publisher, it's great. But if you
Right.
haven't written the book,
Right.
it doesn't matter if the opportunity comes to you. So you have to.
You have to, yeah.
Have to do the work. Have to take your acting lessons.
Right.
Do whatever you need to have it happen. Have your actors reel. Which, have you ever put that together? 'Cause
It's
you
going.
need to do that.
We're getting there.
Okay.
We're getting there. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, when you
you see how I feel about myself is this. The best way to describe me is this. Am I better than a lot of actors out there? I don't know. Am
Yeah.
I as good as? Maybe. Are there some better than me? Absolutely. That's life. But we're all in the same race together. And even if I don't win that race, there are other things I can do. There are other parts I can play. But because of the life that I'm leading right now with the months ahead of me that I will retire, I feel like when I retire, I feel like I'm a racehorse at Belmont. and it's frustrating because I feel the gates closed for me. When they open the gates, all the other horses run out, but I'm left behind for now because I have to be left behind. But I know I'm ready to run once
But you're
the
doing
gate
your
hits.
work, though.
Yeah.
You have the clips to show that
Oh,
you know
yeah.
how to act. You have the experience with having these movies made. And so even though it seems like you can't run full forward, and I couldn't either.
No.
I got offered actually 2 features, and one feature wanted to do Porter's Way Christmas. And the thing was, I would have had to take off 3 weeks' work. I'm like, I can't take off.
You can't do it.
Because that's not going to pay me enough.
Right.
So I had to stay the course knowing I can just do what I can do. And then when I retire, I will have the money to do everything I want to do.
Yeah.
So it's always that. People like, take it. I'm like, yeah, okay, great. So I'm going to make $20,000 and then I don't have the pension.
Yeah.
And then what do I do?
Right.
You know, so
Right.
you have to balance everything.
Yeah.
You know, but I think we've done a pretty good job of that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
How are we
yeah.
doing with time?
It's 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
All right, so I can say goodbye at this point,
You
right?
can if you want to.
Okay, so for my very first podcast, I've coughed all over you, I've sneezed all over you. You know, we're still figuring it out, but thank you for joining us today.
And thank you for having me.
You're
I
welcome.
really appreciate it. It's an honor to be your
I'm so
first
glad,
guest.
because I wanted to
you
start
know?
with one of my favorite people.
Aw, that's
But
sweet.
next week,
That's
we're
sweet.
going to have Travis Grant, comedian, actor Travis
Make sure you
Grant.
watch that. That's probably going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, he's going to be a lot of fun.
he'll
He is just
tickle
so
your funny bone,
awesome
for
to work
sure.
with, and he's got an interesting story about how we met. If he wants to talk about that, but again, thank you so much. Thank you for governors.
Thank you.
For
Thank you,
having us. We
governors. Appreciate it very much.
Tony for facilitating everything.
Yeah.
Totally
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Tony.
And,
And again, thank you for having me. This is awesome. You know, we'll be back to talk about Yuletides again.
Sounds good.
You know.
Thank you.
Thank you.